Morning. How are you today? I hope you're going all is well. It is Monday, June 29th, as I am live streaming this. If you happen to see at a later time, hey, thanks for watching. It's probably a different day. You know, I'm going to do something a little different. I've got three movies, a CD, a book on cassette, and two books. I want to just say, hey, look, The American President on VHS. Um, I need to open glasses for this. You know how it goes if you've watched any of these. 1995, the year that came out. My favorite scene is where he defends his girlfriend. Uh, he says, I've loved two women in my life. I lost the first to cancer. The second one I lost because I was so busy doing my job, I forgot to do my job. And then he rips into Senator Robson for being an asshole, saying, look, he doesn't, and tells the people he doesn't care about your problems. He's just pointing at it, saying, this is who's at fault. He's got, we've got serious uh, issues. Yeah. And it's true, we do. But I haven't watched it in a while. The other scene in the movie I liked, where she's at where they're at a meeting before they meet the president and Michael Douglas and Annette Bening meet. She rips into the president, saying he's an asshole, this, that, the other. She doesn't know he had just walked in, so he ends up saying, "I say we take him out back and kick the shit out of him," and she's all embarrassed because it's like, oh, I just said that. John Mahoney's in the movie as Annette Bening's boss. He was the dad on Frasier. I always do that. The next movie, Sneakers. Robert Redford, Sidney Poitier, Dan Aykroyd, River Phoenix, David Strathairn. 1992, it came out, copyright. A lot of people like the list of demands they get. My favorite part of that is the River Phoenix. He's given his demand, and he just wants a date with the young lady, and is like, is she single? Robert was like, oh no, you can get anything. Yeah, just want a phone. It's, that part I like. It's just like, so it's like James Earl Jones character. He's like, no, oh hell no. Robert Redford. It's like, what? FBI can chaperone, whatever. It was a little funny go between there. And then the lady ends up saying, "Hold on, wait. You can get anything you want, and you just want my phone number, and you want or a date. I'm not sure which way." And he's like, "Yes." Next is Down Periscope, starring Kelsey Grammer, also VHS. I believe I have it on DVD because it was like hard to watch this on VHS. This film has been modified from its original version. It has been formatted to fit your screen. But it looks like copyright 1995. Ken Hudson Campbell Hudson. Give me a second. He's the one who played the Santa Claus in the Home Alone. He was also in Armageddon. Um, one of my favorite scenes is, or it has to do with the guy who plays Stepanek. He doesn't want to be on the submarine, but his dad is an admiral, and he thinks it'd do him some good. He's doing everything he can to get kicked out. Well, almost anything he can. You know, he wasn't doing the work that he had to do. Then later, when they're in trouble, or no, I don't want to spoil the movie if you haven't seen it. Down Periscope. Um, there's a scene where his the cook in the movie, the chef, whatever you want to call him, is eating a plate of beans or something, and he ends up, and another ship, a sub that was looking for their sub, excuse me, is overhead, and it's like sounded like a small explosion. To which his character does that the whales scene. Excuse me. And then Stepanek's character, the character Stepanek gets up, runs because the smell of the fart ends up, and everyone's like, and he's like, oh, and he buries his face under his head under a pillow. Going, oh. Later, Kelsey Grammer tells him, "You could have, ended this." Oh no, that would have been detrimental to the war game. I'm just trying to screw myself out. Whatever. And then later, when the sub is actually in trouble, they're taking on water. It's like, we're taking on water. We have to bash. And he ends up running back. I'll take care of it. And he rushes back to the engine room where they're taking on the water. And he ends up locking the door with everyone inside. There are 3 or 4 people, whatever. And it's like, we ain't abandoning it. Shit. I'm gonna die on this. He ends up like popping off all the leaks that were water coming in. That was my favorite part. It's not on YouTube anywhere. I've looked. Maybe I'm looking for it in all the wrong places. But as I said, I have it on DVD. I could pop it in, watch it, go okay, and then stuff. But yeah, I love that scene. It was like he's like, because he's been trying to like, this what whatever. Anyway, Dr. Demento 20th anniversary. The collection, the greatest novelty records of all time. Now, this is copyrighted 1991. This collection. I don't know if the Dr. Demento show still airs on any radio station. I know that when I was listening to it on the Ann Arbor radio station, WIQB Rock, Ann Arbor's Rock 103. It was 102.9, but they are now, I believe, W4 Country. I could be wrong. I think I'm right, but well, I think I'm wrong. I'm quite positive I'm correct on that. Anyway, my point. Oh, there was one? Yes. All the commercials for the Dr. Demento show were joining the Army. It was like every commercial break, the Army. I'm like, okay, sure. Excuse me. From disc 1, Delicious. It doesn't say who it is, who does it, but it's, I believe it was Phyllis Diller. Oh, delicious. I could be wrong on that. That may have been no, that was Cocktails for Two. No, give me a sec. I should have looked this up before I started. Jim Backus and Friend, which I believe it was actually Phyllis Diller, but I can't recall. If anyone can correct me on that, that'd be awesome. It's delicious. Or the name of the song is Delicious. Brian Bowers, the Scotsman, left one more evening fact. One could tell by how he walked that he drunk more than his share. Ring ding diddle little audio, ring da diddly audio. Wappin', Daryl Hammond, and Christopher Snell. It's Elmer Fudd in the recording studio. Kill the wabbit, kill the wabbit. Suffering succotash. That's worse than a Tweety Bird on a blender. You gotta get time with the times, Elmer. Try it like this. Hey, you squirrel rabbit, don't you mess with me. I'm a haunted type. What? I'm certain it's available on YouTube somewhere. If you can check it out, Wappin, Wappin. Daryl Hammond, who is a Saturday Night Live now. I'm not sure if he's still on. I haven't watched in years. On CD2, disc 2, excuse me. Dancing Fool, Frank Zappa. Surfing Bird, The Trashmen, which technically I don't think that's a novelty. I mean, it could be considered a novelty. But you figure some of these, Dead Puppies, Masochism Tango, The Ballad of Irving, Battle of Cucamonga, King Tut, Fish Heads, They're Coming to Take Me Away, haha, Napoleon the 14th. Sarah Sylvia Cynthia Stout Would Not Take the Garbage Out by Shel Silverstein. Pencil Neck Geek, Classy, Freddie Blassie. Here it just says Freddie Blassie. Blassie? That's her name? Blassie, Blassie. But yeah, it was Dr. Demento and an array of parody novelty songs, mostly novelty. Weird Al got his big break on that with Another One Rides the Bus because he was sending in tapes to Dr. Demento. That one hit big. He recorded that in the bathroom across the hall from the Weird Al Yankovic. Recorded that across the hall from the studio because he was a disc jockey at the college, university, whatever that he was attending. And the echo effect was pretty good too. But he recorded that. Another one rides the bus. Another one rides the bus. And another one's on. Parody of Queen's Another One Bites the Dust. Napalm and Silly Putty. Cassettes, audio. George Carlin. Original material 2000, copyright 2000. This is copyright 2001. Napalm and Silly Putty, written and performed by George Carlin. his jokes. It was his book, whatever. I don't. It was funny. It was George Carlin. It was. I want to say he basically read his book, it, acted it out, performed it. My first book, real book, unlike an audiobook. See, pages, man. It's like a Kindle that doesn't have a battery. Confessions of a Kamikaze Cowboy, Dirk Benedict. He played Faceman on the television series The A-Team. He was also in the movie Ruckus. He also made an appearance at the end of the movie The A-Team, where he is talking to Bradley Cooper's face, and it's like, "What's the secret? Gotta take care of the face." A true story of discovery, acting, health, illness, recovery, and life. Oh, he was also on the television series Battlestar Galactica. This was, I want to say, before the reboot. If he made an appearance on the new reboot, I don't know. I never watched that one. I was doing other things, watching TV, or other channels, or I stopped watching TV. I don't remember. It's all a blank right now. I'm not sure how much of this I actually read. Would I consider it? Would I say, hey, you should buy it? I don't see why not. I mean, I'm not getting paid to say it. Views and opinions expressed in this video are of those saying it, or those of the person saying it. Me, Fremont Lee. Fremont Lee here. Hi, how are you? Hope you're having a good day, good evening, good afternoon. The whole Truman thing where it's like, in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Probably owe that movie company money for that. But hey, they're just words. Like I said, I haven't read the entire thing. I started reading it, and I just started reading it, and I'm like, because I was laying down. I think I ended up taking a nap. I need a place where I can read. I mean, like a library, an office, something. You figure when I was living in Evansville, was that Indiana? Evansville, Indiana? The Hoosier State. That's Indiana, right? I don't know. Anyway, when we crossed into the thing, I saw Hoosier Lottery on a billboard. I just started laughing because all that, who's your daddy? And I'm like, that's funny. It'd be the Hoosier State if they had Who's Your Daddy on their shirt, and it would Hoosier, because they're Hoosiers. But then it was like, I started laughing. I was like, who's your teacher? That just would have been wrong. Who's your bartender? Who's your student? It's just a whole bunch of things, but Hoosier, Hoosier. Because who's your daddy? Who's your mommy? It just would have been. It was a T-shirt idea, and I never really went any far as that. Jim, who was driving, who ended up, because he was like the assistant manager of the place, and the manager wouldn't let him leave to go visit his family. He said, I'm done with this. And it was like, I want to say it was 4 months in when I was there. And then 2 months later, I'd had the kids took over. The kids of the owner of the place. The kids took over, kicked him out or whatever. They were going to fire the guy who brought me in, so I was going to be fired. So I said, yeah, I'm done with this. Because he wanted me to get a job at McDonald's. And I'm like, I don't want to work at McDonald's. Good place, gives kids experience, gives people who need a job, but I didn't want to work at McDonald's. What I wanted to do, I don't know. Not at that time. I do now. I know now. I know what I want to do now. I've probably known for a long time. It's just actually I did know for a long time what I wanted to do, but that took money and it's just something I didn't have. Still don't. I mean, enough to get by and I have a place to live, I have food, clothes, this shirt. No holes yet, so it's still good. Um Actually I think there is a hole. It's in the front of the shirt. Might be in the back of the shirt. But it's like one of those little like dot things where it like snagged on something or whatever, and it just kind of or moth ate it. I don't know. But yeah, I ended up leaving. I ended up going up living with my younger sister and her family. I was like, "Hey, is that offer still open?" I yeah, I couldn't take it anymore down there. It was like the people there didn't want me. Penny didn't like me um, because whatever. I don't know. She didn't have to like me. But yeah, we made strombolis. Pretty much all we made. Every now, we'd make a pizza every now and then, but it's mostly which is why I was out of practice doing it, making the whatever. Anyway, my last book for the day: The Good, the Bad, the Me. My Life in Anecdotage. Eli Wallach. Advanced praise for The Good, the Bad, and the Me from Clint Eastwood. Unlike many books these days, this one is terribly accurate. Working with Eli Wallach was one of the great pleasures of my life. He is an extremely versatile actor and now a fine storyteller. Arthur Miller. Eli Wallach is the happiest good actor I've ever known. He really enjoys the work, just as he must have enjoyed writing this probably true book. Mike Nichols. Eli Wallach is almost as good a writer as he is an actor, which is very. And then Liam Neeson. Mr. Wallach's writing is just like his acting, pure, deceptively simple, and honest. He has a sharp eye and tells some wickedly funny and touching stories. In an age where every Tom, Dick, and Harry are writing memoirs of half-lived lives, here is one of our great elder statesmen of acting, sharing his wealth of stories of a rich life. Always there is the artist, all-observing eye and all-embracing heart. A great read. I liked it. Eli Wallach was born in Brooklyn, and his wife of 57 years, Ann Jackson, were recently named the King and Queen of Brooklyn. Eli Wallach remains active in film and theater and lives in New York. As of this recording, lived. He has passed on. Um, Looking for the year. Boom, 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 ba boom. Boom, 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 ba boom. Oh, uh, copy of the letter I wrote him, dated May 2nd, 2007. Dear Mr. Eli Wallach, my apologies for not thanking you sooner for the Christmas card. I do thank you. Also, I did go see The Holiday. You and Kate Winslet were great. I also plan on going to see Mama's Boy. According to IMDb, the film is completed. My part of my next paycheck will go to your autobiography, The Good, the Bad, the Me, whatever. The lady at the store laughed when I said in my anecdotage. I'm not sure if I actually completed that letter because it didn't look like I completed that letter. But that's what it says in my anecdotage. I didn't get the year, did I? Copyright 2005 by Eli Wallach. It's dedicated to the love of my life, Ann Jackson, to Peter, Lucinda, Roberta, Catherine, and my three grandsons, Jason, Tyler, and Sean. That one I recommend because I did read it. I also read Harpo Speaks, the book Harpo Marx co-wrote with someone. He confessed in it that he didn't know how to read or spell something. There was an incident at along the lines of the Agatha Christie novels, where a bunch of people go to an isolated area, someone gets killed, they find out who killed them. They played a game on an island or at an island home, whatever. Harpo was invited, and the game was somebody would be killed. Not really. I mean, it would be like, okay, bang, you're dead. So the people would be there together. Well, and everyone would have to find out who did it. I don't think not fully understanding that you had to actually be in the room together to do it, to say, okay, I'm killing you, I'm the killer. Because one person is actually assigned, but nobody knows who, except the person who does it. I don't know if they drew like little slips and they're like, okay, and then everyone else would grab one. But Harpo would use the restroom. He wrote "You're dead" on the roll of toilet paper. So the next person who goes in to use it would see it and be like, okay, I'm dead. The lady played along with it that ended up using the restroom afterwards. And because he was not in the same room together, nobody could figure it out. That, well, whatever. But looking at the roll of bathroom tissue that he wrote on, they knew it was Harpo because it wasn't spelled correctly. Because he didn't know how to spell. You figure his character didn't have to read any dialogue or any of the script because he didn't have any lines. They did stage plays at first, and they would give him, he would be given a character to an accent, whatever. And for part of the stage play, it was great. The review said it was great until he started talking. He was like, fine. So he ended up not saying anything, which ended up being one of the character traits. So when it went to the movies, or when they went to the movies, that's what happened. He didn't have any lines. He didn't say anything. He just honk a horn and do funny faces. Just I probably put these on. I'm done reading now. Except for birthdays, which I wrote down. Nobody that I've mentioned here. Colin Hay, the lead singer of Men at Work. I've come from the land down under. Fuck, I'm going to read it. Maria Conchita Alonso, who was in The Running Man, 1987, Predator 2, 1990. Fred Grandy, who played Gopher Smith on the TV series The Love Boat. I believe he's a governor, senator, something. Governor. I don't know. He was one of those offices. Gary Busey, Richard Lewis, Elon Mitchell Smith, who was in Weird Science. I couldn't remember his name in the other video, but yeah. Nicola Scherzinger, who was the voice of Cena in Moana in 2016. I never watched it. It was a cartoon. I want to say I've grown up since then, but I haven't really. And I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Melora Hardin, who was in the movie 17 again, 2009, with what's his face from High School Musical, and Matthew Perry. Sharon Lawrence, Judith Hogue, Amanda Donohoe, Camila Mendez, who plays Veronica on Riverdale, Kathleen Wilhoit, Michael Carter, who was in Star Wars Episode 4, which is Revenge of the Jedi, 1983, and The Illusionist, 2006, and skateboarder Mike Vallely. I want to say a skateboarder. He in the picture on his IMDb page. He's on a skateboard. It's from Paul Blart Mall Cop, and he's like on a skateboard, just kind of whatever the stance is. Anyway, and the late Slim Pickens, who was in the movie Blazing Saddles, and I mean, he was in a lot of stuff, but he's the one who goes, "What in the wild, wild world of sports?" Anyway, he was also in. Tell him I said, "Ow." No, tell him I said, and he gets up and says, "Ow." And then the other guy's like, "Tell him I said, ow," because he got hit in the head with a shot. Dr. Strangelove, that's what it was, or how I stopped worrying about the bomb, whatever. Producer Robert Evans, who produced or co-produced Chinatown, 1974, and Popeye, 1980, and The Saint in 1997. Soon-Tek Oh, who was the sensei in Beverly Hills Ninja with Chris Farley in 1997. John Fujioka, who was in American Ninja in 1985. They did other things. These are the only ones I was like, man. Ray Harryhausen, who did the visual effects for Clash of the Titans in 1981. And Corey Allen, who played Buzz Gunderson in the movie Rebel Without a Cause in 1955. Again, they've done other things, which isn't always the case, because the guy who played the Lone Ranger in the 1980 movie, or 82, 83, whatever, where Christopher Lloyd played not Calvera. It's not Calzone. Anyway, the bad guy in the Lone Ranger. Anyway, that actor did that. He does stage stuff. He teaches acting, but that was his only film credit. There are other people who have like one film credit, where they've acted. They haven't written anything, they haven't produced anything, they haven't directed anything, or at least their name isn't on it on IMDb stating that they've done anything. Well, I'm going on 35 minutes. I hope you have a good day. I'm done for now. Those were the things. The movies, book, George Carlin book, Brain Droppings, or no, Napalm and Silly Putty. Excuse me. He did do a book called Brain Droppings. Bestseller Brain Droppings. George Carlin unleashed his opinions on everything from dining out to why you should marry an orphan. Now, in Napalm and Silly Putty, the Thinking Person's comic offers a hilarious new collection of razor-sharp observations. Carlin dives right in, asking tough questions and sharing philosophical musings. When Reagan got Alzheimer's, how did they tell? Who does a male ladybug dance with? If people climb Mount Everest because it's hard to do, why do they go up the easy side? If people stand around in a circle long enough, they will eventually begin to dance. In America, anybody can be president. That's the problem. If there are really multiple universes, what do they call the thing they're in? They're all part of. Yeah, it's his stuff. It's whatever. But yeah, those were things from the thing, but delivered into the style of George Carlin, not the way I just. And then when they hit the park, I will name him George. Um, I hope you're having a good day or a good evening. I hope you had a good day or are having a or had a good evening whenever you happen to be watching this. Thank you for watching. Um, I'm not gonna. Might as well. Remember, you're going through shit. Other people are going through shit. So please be kind to each other because we're all going through shit. We could probably help each other if we talked about it. Uh, but yeah, that's the way things go, I guess. Again, thank you for watching. Fremont Lee here. Views and opinions expressed in this video are those of the person saying it. Hi, how are you doing? Have a good one.